Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to this next section of rhythm. And I'm in a little bit of a different environment here because I am hoping that my nephew will come and join us as we go through some of these basic things. He is in kindergarten and he's a lot of fun, but he's a little camera shy. Hold on one second. Okay, so, yay! Can you say hi to everyone, Jeremiah? Okay, so here's Jeremiah's piece of paper and here's my piece of paper. And today we are going to be talking about music notation, okay? And there are standard ways for music notation and shorthand ways of music notation. And we're going to be talking about both of them. So before, in our previous lesson, you learned that we have something called beat, all right? And each music has a piece of steady beat. Can you sing a song with me? Okay, so he's not going to sing, but we know this by if we were to sing a song like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once I caught a fish alive. I'm keeping the steady beat with my hands here versus if I were to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once I caught a fish alive, 6, 7, that's an example of the beat not being steady, okay? So we know that we have steady beat, and we know that the steady beat can be divided into 2 parts. And how many parts? I saw that.
3.
3 parts. Very good, Jeremiah. Very good for y'all. 2 parts and 3 parts. And then we can also have beat groupings, okay? So I want to show you how we are going to write this in something I call shorthand notation, okay? And in shorthand notation, let's see, we pick a color for me to use. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay. So in shorthand notation, we are first going to use something to show the beat. Okay. So I'm going to write beat, and I'm going to talk about beat division of 2, and I'm going to put 2 in parentheses like this. Okay. So every time I draw a beat, I am going to do it by this horizontal line like this. Can you draw a line like that for me, Jeremiah? Hey, Jay. Okay, so hopefully you are doing more than what Jeremiah is doing. And we're drawing a beat like this, okay? So that means that this is a beat division of 2. Anytime you see a horizontal line like this, and if you ever have trouble remembering what horizontal means on this other piece of paper, I'm just going to show you. If you draw a capital H, it has the line through it like this, like a horizontal H. Now, I realize there's other lines on there, but stay with me. Okay, so if I'm going to do a beat, we're going to do beat division of 2, and we're going to do beat groupings of 2 as well, okay? So this is what this represents, right? Beat, beat, beat groupings of 2. And you know this because you already worked through this on your other piece of music, right? At the very end of the last lesson where you worked on your beat groupings if you were doing worksheets on this, okay? So if I'm going to draw a little division sign to equal beat division of 2, and then I'm going to, right on top of that, let's say, I'm going to write 2. So it's 2 beat division of 2. And I love your singing. Can you audiate? Can you audiate?
Because he bite my fingers, so we think what he bites is what the painting and the white.
So here is an example of 3 measures of music. 3 measures of music. Each has 2 beats within them. Okay, and then they have the bar lines. So we're going to number these. Jeremiah, what number comes, oh goodness, what number comes after 1?
2.
2. So right after that bar line, I'm going to write a 2. And then what number comes after 2?
3.
3. So you can see here, we have, how many measures do we have, Jeremiah?
3.
Right, we have 3 measures here. And how many beats are inside each measure?
There's 1, 2.
Very good. There's
3,
2 beats. So
4.
we start over counting the beats after each bar line. So 1, 2, bar line. 1, 2, bar line. 1, 2, double bar line. Say it with me. Ready, go. 1, 2, bar line. 1, 2, bar line. 1, 2, double bar line. Can you point? Can you point for it?
No.
But you can do that at home, right? So showing you, we have 1, 2, bar line. 1, 2, bar line. 1, 2, double bar line, okay? So if I were to do this in Takadimi, it would sound like this. 1, 2, here it is. Ta, 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 ta. Your turn, go. Excellent, excellent. So now we know that in beat division of 2, we can have ta and we can have ta, D. Very good.
No.
Ta, D. So
Ta, X.
now I'm going to add in some ta, Ds with this, okay? So, Jeremiah, where should I make a ta, D? Those are measure numbers. Can you pick any of the beat lines and show me where there should be a ta, D? Very good. Okay. All right, so Jeremiah just told me this is what we're going to read. 1, 2, ready, it's ta, ta, dee, ta, ta, dee, ta, dee, ta. Your turn. Try it and. Very good. Very good. Okay, so just to review here, we have 2 beats per measure. Each of the beats are divided into 2 parts, and we have 3 measures. At the very end, what is this called, everyone? Did they say it right? What did they say, Jeremiah?
I don't know.
Yeah? Well, maybe if we finish eating our blackberries, I'll give you more. You are so silly. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's do another one, okay? Do we want to be in simple or compound? Compound, okay. So in compound, remember compound means the beat is divided into 3 parts, and Aunt Beth did that wrong. Okay, so here is a basic breakdown. Let's describe what we see. Can you find, Jeremiah, this is hard, can you find the bar lines? Right, that is a double bar line, right? Because there's 2. Very good. Yes, excellent, excellent. So these right here, how do you know that those are the bar lines, Jeremiah? Do you know how? Are they longer or shorter than the other lines?
Longer.
They are longer. Very good. So in this case, the bar lines are longer than these other shorter lines here, okay? Now, how many lines are in this little section?
Small.
How many? So just count within one measure. Okay, but can you just count within one measure? How many lines do you see in this measure?
12.
In this little bitty measure, from here to this bar line, how many lines?
4.
Okay, so yes and no. There are 4 little lines, and how many big lines?
2.
Right, how many? 4 plus 2 more. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Very good. So this means we have 6 beat divisions within this one measure because each of these little bitty lines mean beat divisions. So what we're going to do, you ready? Ready?
Hey, where's my cup?
Oh, open your mouth. Okay, you can have more. Only 2 in your mouth at a time. Deal?
Okay.
Okay, so now what's one other thing that we're missing from this example, Jeremiah? Hey, what's one example we're missing from this one to this one? I'll give you a hint. Pink.
1, 2,
No.
3, and 4.
Well, not really, but we're missing, what are these called? Measure.
Measures counting.
Close, right, very close. Measure numbers. So we want to count 1 and 2 and 3. And we want to make sure when we're numbering our measures, we number them right after the bar line. Right? Right after the bar line. We don't want to put them in the middle.
6.
Yeah, very good, buddy. High fives. Okay, so.
Double high five.
Blah. Okay, cool. So, like, if we were to count all of these measures, how many measures do we have, Jeremiah?
Uh-oh.
If we were to... Uh-oh, that's okay. All right, so now what I want to show you, this is really important, okay? In compound meter, and let me make sure that I show you that it's compound, because here the beat divisions are of 3. Instead of writing out the beats, we write out the beat divisions. So this, without doing anything else, would read talkie-doo, 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 talkie-doo. Just like that, without doing anything. And that is different from this example here, where when I was drawing the beats, I was just drawing the beats, and then I had to add something to make the beat division. When we're doing shorthand notation in compound, we have to add something to draw the beats because we automatically start by drawing the beat divisions. So when we want to make the beats from beat divisions in compound, do you know what we add? Do you know what we add, Jeremiah? Do you know what we add? We add, are you ready for this? Oh, very cool. What is that?
I don't know.
We add ties.
But that is a different kind of one.
It is a very different kind. We add ties, and they connect each of these beat divisions. Jeremiah, where else should I add another tie for us to practice singing this?
4, 5, 6.
Where else should I draw another tie?
6.
Hey, where else? Yes, very good. There's 6 beat divisions in a measure. Pick another beat division set for me to draw a tie. Really? You want one there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of boring, but okay. One more.
No, those 2.
No, you can't. That's a great question. So Jeremiah wanted me to draw a tie. He wanted me to draw a tie from here to this line, but we can't draw a tie to a bar line. Now we can put a tie across a bar line, but we're not going to be there yet. Hey, Jay. So pick another set of 3.
2.
Point to it for me. No, that one's boring. Pick a different one. Pick a different one.
Okay.
5.
There's 2 more.
5, 4. No. Okay. Well, we're not going to learn that yet. So Jeremiah just connected 2 of the beats, but we're not going to learn that yet. It's in yellow, so it's a little hard to see. But let's look at this. I am going to
1, 2, 3.
add ties in right here. So let's read this. 1. Here we go. It's ta, ta, talkie-doo, talkie-doo, ta, talkie-doo. 1, 2, 3, your turn. Go.
1 and 2 and 3.
So that was a really good effort. Oh, Jeremiah, I like that you're counting out your beat divisions there.
5, 6.
So this is what you were doing here. Now,
6 numbers.
6 numbers. Very good. Very good. Now, my question to you, is this in duple, triple, or quadruple? Is this in duple, triple, or quadruple? We know it's in compound, but is it in duple, triple, or quadruple? What do you think, Jeremiah? Duple, triple, or quadruple?
Quadruple.
Close. It's in duple. And it's in duple because how many big lines do you see?
1, 2.
Bar line. 1, 2. Bar line. 1, 2.
Double bar line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So there's
double bar line.
Yes, there's 6 beats total, but
Just like 1, 2, 6.
Right, very good. You have 6 beats there, but I like how you separated them 1, 2, 3, space 4, 5, 6, because that kind of shows beat divisions. Because then, Jeremiah, if we were to count beat divisions here, let's use, I just used purple. Okay, let's use red. Hey, Jay, how many lines are in each measure? Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many beat divisions are there?
6.
So there's 6 beat divisions per measure. And there's 2 beats per measure. Does that make sense?
2 beats per measure.
2 beats per measure, 6 beat divisions per measure. Let's show them. Hold on, let's show them. Okay, do you guys see that? What you doing? Okay, so while he is working on that, I just wanted to show you that little bitty difference. So it's really important when you are practicing this and thinking through this that you practice writing it, doing yourself, listening to it, and doing yourself. You also, oh, thank you. What are these?
That's a trick, and that's an X.
Okay, what are they for?
We have a good job. And good job.
Thanks.
Doing.
Tell them a good job. Can you tell them?
Not yet. These cents.
What, you're messing up my painting. Okay, so while he is working on that, hopefully that gives you an idea, and you can do all kinds of different varieties within that. He is drawing on my painting, but now we are going to move into standard music notation. What are these?
Those are the counting ups and downs.
Right, because every beat has
1,
an upbeat and a downbeat.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, nice job.
Go, that's a lot.
It is a lot. High fives. Okay, so now we're going to move on to standard notation. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so just as a reminder, this is shorthand. These are 2 examples. They're both in duple meter. This one is in simple, the one on top, and the one on bottom is in compound meter. And they all have different, and they all have 3 measures within them. And you could do a mixed meter example, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. You need a new sheet of paper. All right, what are we going to be learning about? Do you remember? Do you remember? You did. Standard notation. So, standard music notation. First, we are going to review our fractions, and then I'm going to talk to you about sound and silence. Now, some people will argue that silence still has sound, and that is kind of true, but for this experiment, exercise, learning period, we are going to talk about the fact that there is sound and there is silence. Can you make sound for me? 1, 2, 3, go.
Woo, woo.
Pause.
Woo, woo.
Now make silence. That's just softer. Yeah, softer is, silence is this. Sound, go. Woo, 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 woo. Silence. Sound. Woo, 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 woo. Silence. Sound. Woo, 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 woo. Silence. Okay, so Jeremiah, would you like to start with sound or silence first? He said sound. Great. We're going to start with sound.
Silence.
Of course you would say that, but we're going to start with...
But I said silence.
Well, you waited too long. You snooze, you lose. We're going to start with sound because we've only done sound with these. So that makes the most amount of sense, okay? So what are we starting with? Sound. What? Sound.
Silence.
Okay, we're starting with sound, and we are...
No, the silence.
Okay, and we are learning about standard notation. Okay, so the first thing we need to know with sound is that there is something called a note head. Anytime you are indicating sound, you use a note head. And the reason being is that that note head, particularly if it's going to have a pitch to it, woo, any of those pitches, right? You want to have some sort of idea as to where the pitch is going to be. And sometimes we tell you exactly what pitch we want you to be, and sometimes we don't tell you what kind of pitch we want it to be. But we always use a note head when we are indicating sound. What do we always use when we're indicating sound?
Woo, woo.
That, but also a note
Head.
A note head. Okay, now there are two kinds of note heads. How many?
10.
No.
Yes.
2.
No. 10.
Contrary to what my nephew says, there are 2 types of note heads. Okay?
No.
Okay, we will continue that debate later after we get done teaching them. Deal? Okay, so there's 2 types of note heads. Okay, the first type of note head is open. The second type of note head is, what's the opposite of open, Jeremiah? What's the opposite of open? Closed. What's the opposite of open?
Close.
Closed. Yes, very good. That is the opposite of open. Okay, so we have an open note head and we have a closed note head. Which one is open, Jeremiah? Which one is open? Very good. Which one is closed? Why do you know the difference? Hey, what's the difference? What's the difference?
Close. Close.
Yeah, why are they different? What's different about them?
I don't know.
That's a great question then. Thank you for telling me. Do you see, does this one have, is this one filled in?
No.
Is this one filled in?
Yeah.
Yes, so an open note head is not filled in. A closed note head
It's filled in.
is filled in. Excellent. Okay, so now we have an open note head and a closed note head. And I'm going to write that down for you. An open note head and a closed note head. Here we go. Now, remember I said we're going to review our fractions. Are you ready for some fraction review?
No.
I know, you're so excited, okay?
No.
So, let's...
They're not exciting.
Okay, well, I think it's exciting because fractions are really important with music, and they're not as scary as they seem. So we have here one line like this, okay? And I'm going to call it a whole line. What is this, Jeremiah? Hey, what's this? What is this, y'all? Good, a whole line. So now...
A closed line.
No, it's a whole line because it's just all in one part. No, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Okay, so now if I cut it, that whole line in half, I now cut it in half. What is it?
Close.
We're using new words now. It's in half. What is it in?
Half.
Half. Very good. Okay. So how many, watch Jeremiah, how many parts are in a half? Look at this. You try to decide at home. How many parts are in a half?
1.
So in a whole, we have 1 part. In a half, how many parts?
2.
Very good. So now I'm going to draw that same length of the line. And now I'm going to split it a different way. And here I have a third, or thirds. Pretend I didn't make it plural. Now I have a third. I'm just going to crayon X out that R. What is this called? Can you read this? Watch. Third. Third. Very good. Now, for y'all, how many parts on the third line do you see? How many parts do you see, Jay? Look.
4.
Let's try that again. Count them for me.
2 plus 2 equals 4.
That is correct, but Jay, watch. 1.
1, 2, 3.
Good. How many parts are here?
3.
3. Very good. So now Aunt Beth is going to draw another line. And now we're going to call something. Oh, I just broke this marker. By marker, I mean crayon. Now I'm going to draw another line, and this time I split it this way. Jeremiah, how many parts do I have here? Ready? Let's count them. 1,
2, 3, 4.
Very good. How many parts?
4.
How many parts, y'all?
4.
Very good.
That's it.
What? How many?
4.
4. Okay. Now, gonna get crazy. I'm gonna mix things up a little bit from you. You might think, if you know these kinds of words, you might think that a 5th is next. We're not gonna do a 5th. What we're going to do now is...
Yes.
Yeah, boo.
Look at this.
What? Oh, look at you, fancy. Whoa.
Zing.
Thank you for almost poking out my eye.
No.
Whoa, this one's a lot. You tell me. Oh, and I misspelled the word. There we go. Had to add in an extra H there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Very good. How many parts?
8.
8. Very good. So we call an 8.
8. 4 equals 8.
4 doesn't equal 8. 4 times 2 equals
8.
Very good. He doesn't really know that. He's just knowing that's the right word. So you want to keep this next to you, okay? So that you can understand what we are doing here. Because now I'm going to take the same thing. Thank you for breaking that. Can we trade? Can we trade?
No, thank you.
Thank you for saying that nicely. I'll just get a similar blue. Okay, so now we're going to take that same approach and we are going to put it with standard music notation when we are talking about sound or silence. Sound, okay?
No.
So,
I mean silence.
what we're going to do is
Silence. I said silence.
So now I want you to take all those numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8, all of those numbers, and write them on the next side of your paper. If you're like me and want to be like super particular, you can put your papers underneath each other like this so you can kind of see through it. And you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Just like this, okay? So now what I want you to do is on the other side, write these words. So we have whole, half, third, fourth, and 8th. Okay, good. Can you sit up with me? Sit up, sit up, sit up.
No.
All right, well then I need you to...
I don't want to.
Okay. So now we're going to do this last thing. Remember this. These always indicate pitch. We have... What kind of note head is this, Jeremiah?
Whole notes.
How did you know that and I wasn't showing you? What kind of note head is this?
8.
No. So for a whole note, it just has one open note head, okay? A whole note. Now, if I were to cut that whole in half, I have 2 things. And in this case, I have a half note. And a half note looks just like a whole note, but this time it has something called a stem. And these are half notes. You'll note that on this half note, the stem is going up and on the right of the open note head. And on this half note, the stem is going down and on the left part of the note head. That's super, super, super important, okay? So then we'll come back to all of this. And I am actually going to skip the third. So we're going to skip that and we're going to hop to the fourth. And how many parts are in a fourth? How many parts are in a fourth? How many parts? How many? No, not 2.
Yeah.
Nope, not 2. 4. That's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 4 note heads. I'm not doing this as like cleanly as I could. 4 note heads, and they're open. But now, instead of leaving those note heads open, I'm going to fill them in. And I'm going to fill these note heads in so they look like this. 4 note heads. And now I'm going to add stems to them. Quarter notes or fourth notes, we'll talk about that in just a little bit, have stems to them, okay? Once you essentially add something to this, you never take it away. And those stems can go up and on the right or down and on the left. It doesn't change what type of note it is based on the stem direction. So these are all fourth notes here. And then the last thing that we are going to do is eighth notes. How many parts are of a whole in an eighth, Jeremiah? How many parts in an eighth? How many parts? Guess. 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 How many?
8.
8. Very good. So now what we're going to do is, how many note heads are we going to draw?
8.
Very good. Okay.
1, 2, 3,
1,
4.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you see them?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Good.
9.
Okay, you said 9 for the word, but now, question, Jeremiah, are these open or closed note heads that I drew?
Open.
Very good. Do they need to be open for eighth notes or closed?
Close.
Closed. That was an excellent guess. So, if you now have your open eighth notes,
You closed it.
yes, exactly. Now you close them. So we're going to close them real quick. Now, did you know we add something else to these closed note heads, Jeremiah? Do you remember what? Do you remember what we add? Do you have a guess of what we add? Do you remember I said we're always adding something? If you guessed stems, you guessed correct. So I'm going to draw stems. I'm going to draw some up and on the right and some down and on the left. Okay? Now, you're looking at these and going, Beth, these look just like quarter notes. And I'm saying, yes, they do look just like quarter notes. So that must mean we need to add something else. And what's unique about eighth notes, what's unique about eighth notes, we're almost done. Can you get one more minute? What's unique about eighth notes? Hey, what's unique about eighth notes? If you guessed a flag or a stem, you guessed correct. Now, flags go to the top of the stem, and they always go to the right. Which way do flags always go, Jeremiah?
To the left.
No! To the...
Left.
No! Flags always go to the right. Just remember, it's the opposite of what Beyonce told you to do. The only time you ever disobey Beyonce. Who?
The left.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So here is an example if they are all separated like this. These are eighth notes with flags. We're going to add one more thing, and that is they can have, no sir, no sir, no sir. You can draw on yours. Ooh, that's a cool picture. You can show them at the end. The other option you can do, and I'm just going to use the same thing, is instead of drawing flags, you can also draw stems. Now, this looks like I drew, and when I said stems, I meant beams. Sorry. This looks like I drew several beams, and they're really just one beam here. And ignore this little tail that I like scribbled out at the end because you can't erase crayons. So ignore these little tails here. But these are eighth notes with beams. Hey, I need you to count for me. Come here, come count. Come show them. How many eighth notes are here? Count.
0.
If you guessed 8, you got it right. Jeremiah did not, but I love that he guessed, even though I think he was trying to be silly. And we will continue this later. But I know you're asking, Beth, what about the third? Well, the third has a special rule to it that we will talk about next time. I hope that this has been helpful for you.